What is up, friends? Welcome to the Conspiracy Couch. I'm not even sure what number this is, Conspiracy Couch. It's only like 20 or something, right, Will? You're muted.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it
Yes,
20? Is it
20.
actually 20? Yeah, welcome to
Well,
Conspiracy
no,
Couch 20.
no. I mean, this is the reboot 20, right?
The reboot 20? Oh, we did a reboot? I
Right.
wasn't sure that we did that. How's everybody doing today? Everybody feeling good or what? I see you, Karen Allen, Greg SNFL, Karen Hare, Carrie Lake, Maxanon, Deborah R., Tom Ford, Caustic and Abrasive, Share Within, Matt Smith, Patricia Saradol, Karen Caldwell, Delana. Good to see you guys. Adam Hugapug coming with the hugs like usual. All right, guys, this is going to be a little bit different Conspiracy Couch today because basically we got a couple of guests on with us who dove into this rabbit hole much more so than I. I actually had Johnny mention something to me a while back about it, and I wasn't really paying attention like I often do. And then Jayse from Cosmic Orgins, who you see up on the top of the screen next to me, he did a show about it on his channel the other night, and I started paying attention to what he was saying and following where he was going, and I was like, oh, there's actually something to this. Wow, this is crazy. So I figured I'd have these two wonderful, lovely gentlemen come on here and help kind of break down this whole Ingersoll Lockwood. Now, I had heard about the books, okay? And I had heard about that all stuff that a lot of us had heard about. I had heard about that before, right? But I had no idea that there was a defense contractor and a website with the same name, and that if you actually started digging into the information on there, like it actually led to real stuff. So that kind of blew me away, and I figured it'd be great to have these two guys come on who have really dug into this and have them share what they know and share it with all of us. So that is basically what we'll be doing today. Hello to my co-host, Loyal to the Foil. How are you?
What up, fam?
Yeah,
I'm good.
we are.
I'm good.
And
this is fine.
right? What's the problem now, Foil? Oh,
No.
You're going to have a busy day. You're going on Journey to Truth later
Yes.
today. Going to be breaking
indeed.
down some Elon and some robot rants over there on Journey to Truth.
Robot rants.
What time's that
right?
going to be?
The 8 Eastern.
8 Eastern?
Right?
All
Yeah,
right.
8 Eastern.
That sounds like it'll be a great time. Yeah, so please
I'm
help me welcome our two extra guest hosts that we have today. Jayse from Cosmic Origins, and we have Johnny Quill. I think it's Quill. Kill? Is it Kill?
Kill. There you go.
It's Johnny Kill. Yeah, Johnny Kill from WikiLeaks.
I get that all the time. Don't worry.
So how are you, Johnny? Thanks for coming on.
Solid. We're doing good. Yeah, I can't
Cool.
wait. I'm pretty excited about this.
Cool. I know you've been trying to tell me about this for a hot minute, man, and I just sometimes I don't pay much attention, but I'm paying attention now, so we're gonna get into it. What's going on, Jayse? How are you? Welcome to the couch.
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure to be here. This is
Yeah.
going to be a super fun episode. Good dig.
So for those that don't know, Jayse is Alexis, our space weather girl on Sunday nights. This is her husband. So, and he does have a YouTube channel called Cosmic Origins. And where all are you at, Johnny? Are you just on Diddy's channel, or do you have another thing I don't know about?
Diddy Style 93, and you can find us on WikiLeaks official on Telegram, which is myself and Rick G. We also have a Rumble channel. We're going to be definitely doing a lot more stuff with Diddy, and we got some stuff in the works of our own as well.
All right, cool. Awesome stuff. Where all are you, Jayse, and the name of your channel?
I am primarily right now on YouTube, Instagram, and Telegram. And for YouTube, it's Cosmic Origins. For Instagram, it's Cosmic Origins, but with a 0 instead of an O on the Origins. And then my Telegram is a Cosmic Origins channel.
All right,
and that's
cool.
that's the best place to find me.
Yeah, definitely go check that out. I want to real quick thank you, Adam Hugapug, for the 1,000 gold pills. Thank you, Being Anon, for the ship. Much love. And thank you, Gary. Earlier, I caught you. Thank you for the shades.
Gary,
We
is that
appreciate it.
bodyguard Gary?
No, Gary SNFL.
Oh, okay. Yes, thank you
that's
so
right.
much for your
Yes.
support, guys. We really appreciate it. I need to thank a couple super chats from last show over on YouTube. Michelle Genet, Phil Christophers, and from Rockfin, a couple of people that I missed thanking, which is Rainbow Snuggle Fritz and Rob Richards. Thanks a lot, you guys, for your support. We really appreciate it. What's going on, Toots? I see you out there. There's Pilled by the Rabbit. We got to meet Pilled by the Rabbit last show. He called in. That was pretty cool. I
Yes,
love
that was
meeting new
awesome.
friends from the chat and getting to see who they are. It's super
Right?
exciting. All right, gentlemen, where would you, I wasn't calling you a gentleman, Foil, but I could just for this show. You know what I mean?
You will refer to me as sir.
Okay, so you'll be sir just for the that way I keep it easy. I don't say ladies and gentlemen. I'll just say gentlemen, and we'll just keep.
That's fine. I can
for the
identify either way. It's fine.
Okay, that's great. All right, so gentlemen, where would you like to start? Where would you like to start with this rabbit hole? Because it's deep.
Maybe with the book.
All right, why don't you start, Jayse?
So I just picked this up a couple weeks ago. Until, from what I've seen from this year, this was actually almost impossible to find. So essentially, Ingersoll Lockwood, and please, Johnny, fill in the gaps where I may be missing some information. Ingersoll Lockwood was a lawyer and author from the late 1800s, early 1900s. And he wrote several pieces of what seems to be fiction, but we're seeing now is more of predictive type of information than it is fiction. And he's most famous for the book 1900, The Last President, and then the two books about Baron Trump being a time traveler. So all of these books have really uncanny similarities to events occurring today. For instance, I just started the 1900, The Last President book, and it's basically depicting the same exact things that happened when Donald Trump was elected. It was like there was this guy named Brian who was the new president. He was the people's president. He came in, he was taking out the banking class. The bankers there was all this corruption being revealed in the financial sector. And there were also all these mobs being taken to the streets in like New York City and Chicago and all these big cities because they were so upset about the corruption. They just wanted to storm the capitals, basically, which is, kind of similar to what we've already been seeing and might continue to see. And then there's this whole, where I'm getting to now, there's basically a financial reset and they're bringing back the gold standard and all that stuff. So lots of similarities. And then the Baron Trump books depict a child named Baron Trump, who is a time traveler, who has a series of adventures where he goes from different time periods as late or as futuristic as the 21st century, where we're at now, where he actually becomes president. And there's just a lot of really uncanny similarities between what was written here and what's happening today. And then the fact that these books were essentially lost to time until very, very recently. A lot of people are suspecting that there's actual time travel involved and that it might involve the Trump family, Baron Trump, and Trump himself. And then when you bring in, of course, Nikola Tesla, and there's a lot of things that show that Nikola Tesla and Lockwood might have known each other. And then the whole John Trump, Trump's uncle acquiring the papers from Tesla, and that things seem to fall into a storyline that is really out there, but might be true. So that's kind of what started it.
I would 100% agree. That's a great assessment. And it's funny because I just recently did a dig on Diddy's show where I cracked the passwords on the Plus Ultra website and I went into the Tesla papers and connected it to John Trump. And
I saw that.
I would say it's a pretty accurate rundown, Jayse. I appreciate it.
That was a great video, by the way.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Sounds like a hell of a rabbit hole, guys.
Yeah, this is like, man, it's like Tartaria. That rabbit hole never ends. It never ends. That's the one I default back to when I run out of stuff for a minute. I'm like, let's go back into Tartaria, Yep. It's a deep one. All right, so I'm going to show them real quickly the Wikipedia on Ingersoll Lockwood, and then I'm going to pull up the website and show them. So this is Ingersoll Lockwood, August 2nd, 1841, September 30th, 1916. American lawyer and a writer. As a writer, he is particularly known today for his Baron Trump children's novels. However, he wrote other children's novels as well as the dystopian novel 1900 or The Last President, a play, several nonfiction works. He wrote some of his nonfiction under the pseudonym Irwin Longman.
Yes.
Okay. So basically... So some of us have heard about those books and we've kind of heard about Ingersoll Lockwood, but what I had no idea about was this defense contractor called Ingersoll Lockwood. So I'm going to show them quickly the website. And at first I thought it was a joke. Like I thought, oh, come on, dude. And I'm going to show you guys some of the stuff on the site. You're going to be like, oh, come on now. Somebody's trolling us. That's exactly what I thought, right? But if you really start digging into the stuff on the site, like, I don't know. You know what I mean? So
there's some stuff there for sure.
Yeah. So
verifiable companies, verifiable funding.
All right. So where would you guys like me to go first on this website? I'm going to show them the site right now.
Pull it up.
Yeah, it's pulled up.
Let's go to the homepage.
The homepage? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on the homepage. Awards, magazine, B2C, professionals, radio, TV, webinars, health defenders, education defenders, carbon capture shield, which I know you guys want to go into some of that. DARPA funded anti-malware. I know Foyle's got some stuff she wants to go into with that. Quantum encryption. And I think one of the first things to kind of go over is there's text on here that you have to highlight to see. Like it's hidden.
Yeah. Hidden hyperlinks.
Like, where does this go right here? This hyperlink under all criminal hacking activities will be prosecuted. You guys don't laugh at my little highlighter situation, okay?
You're good.
It's not a joke. Rise of Tired with the Cookie. He's got a book called Laconics of Cult.
Yes, Laconics of the Cult. I just recently read that one.
I was reading it last night. It was so trippy.
Which seems to be about the cabal reading now.
Yeah, it's almost a troll to the cabal. He exposes a lot of stuff, and a lot of people read it and be like, oh, it's Luciferian, it's this or that. No, it's actually quite the troll to the cabal. And it was almost Bill Cooper style, way ahead of its time.
Leah Worth coming with the conspiracy couch change. I picked out the Cheerios and chip crumbs. Oh, she took them out of the couch. Well, that's excellent.
Yes.
Okay,
awesome.
so
we also had,
Leah.
real quick, we also had Karen Allen with the cookie, Gary Flessner with the cookie, Laura QAnon with the shades. We love you too.
What's up, Laura? Good to see ya.
Right. Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Alara, before jumping into those hidden links there, let's go through the official links at the top first that kind of explain who they are in their words, and then let's go into those hidden links.
Which one do you want to go to first then, under those on the links on the homepage?
You could just kind of go in order, whatever the first one is.
Under cyber defense awards.
I was thinking the ones at the very top that are like who we are and insights and those kind of things.
How we work. Okay, so how we work. We'll go to how we work. Ingersoll Lockwood's team researchers develop and/or invest in new and innovative technologies to fit the needs of our growing U.S. government and U.S. government contractor customers. Once an investment is made, Ingersoll Lockwood works with the company and any partner agencies or pilot contractors to complete a work program and facilitate products and/or services delivery. Our process strives to ensure that portfolio companies deliver on their technical promise and that they will continue to support and enhance their products for years to come. Always made in America with pride. Okay, that's all I see on that one, unless there's hidden stuff I don't know about.
I think that's all there is on that one. Okay, now go ahead, go to insights.
Okay. So it says Ingersoll Lockwood's focus is on these 10 key areas with a 200+ year business plan, which started in 1891. Has anybody dug on that year 1891?
It gets a lot into, I think, the Stephen G. Samuels letter. I know Jayse might agree with me on that a little bit, and I think this has to do with Ingersoll's insight to the future as an author. So there's definitely some kind of connection with the chairman, and future proves past, as weird as that sounds.
Yeah. Well, don't they use the term future vision? Like literally, quite literally,
correct.
Future
looking
vision.
Looking glass is used a lot here.
Yeah, so scroll up a little bit, Alara, before you read those 10. There's something on the top of that page that starts with our team's expertise span decades, and then they talk about the AI and model learning.
Our
team's
machine learning expertise spans decades, technologies, and markets. Our internal proprietary techniques and technologies, including leveraging AI and ML modeling for the good of humanity, help us to fund and develop products and solutions that are literally light years ahead of the competition and other nation states. We develop a framework, what we call a technology architecture, that provides a system-level view of the various capabilities necessary to help solve a partner's problem. Using this architecture, we are able to find and invest in companies that provide technology capabilities to address these problems. And then it goes into this list here, which is the 10 key areas with a 200+ year business plan, which started in 1891. So number 1 is life, defend and extend. Number 2, land, reverse GMO, reverse contamination, speed travel. Number 3 is water, reverse contamination, expand accessibility. Number 4 is air, reverse pollution, speed travel, defend against HAARP. Number 5 is fuel, unleash hidden and next generation tech, nearly limitless. Number 6, space, unleash hidden and next generation tech, faster, more efficient. 7, computing, next generation privacy, safety, and security. 8, communication, truthful, fact-based, ethical reporting. Number 9, education, unwind stupidity training.
Isn't that great?
Yeah,
they,
unlock history, future. Entertainment.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Johnny.
really quick, I interviewed Paul Hemphill from American Education Defenders. He's on the Ingersoll board, and that is exactly what they're saying right there. He is super anti-critical race theory, and what he's doing in school for kids is absolutely incredible.
All right,
Fantastic.
so should I click on life, land? They're all hyperlinks. Life, land, computing, and education. Should I click on one of those?
Sure.
Yeah.
It'll take you to the groups that they're working with that are related to those subjects.
Okay, so let's check out life. What is this one? What is this?
Land, I believe, takes you to the carbon capture shield.
What is this? Americans every minute have to face. All right, let me go to the other one. Hold on. Did it take me out of the website? Yeah, it did. Did it? Hold on a second.
I would open it in a new tab. Sometimes it does.
It takes you to different places depending on what you click.
It won't even let me backspace on it now, though. Oh, no. It's right here. I'm tripping. Okay, land. Let's see where land goes. Carbon capture shield. Should I play this video right here? This carbon capture shield video?
What do you think on that one, Jayse?
You could play it, but I feel like you don't need to.
Could you guys
We
describe
can
what it is?
explain it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, basically what
Go
they're
ahead, Johnny,
doing is they're talking about replenishing the soil. For example, these different things that they have going on we've heard about GMOs, Monsanto, and stuff like that, which basically pollutes our entire farming system. So what they're doing is they're using carbon and injecting carbon to refertilize the soil and actually allow the forest farming lands to regenerate themselves without having to pump all these disgusting chemicals that basically screw up our food. You know, we all know about GMOs. We know what this stuff is, but this is a way to make clean, efficient soil and actually allow the farmlands and rainforests eventually and different areas that have been deforested to regenerate themselves. We are carbon-based life forms, so imagine being able to use this technology for good that black hats would normally use to screw up our food eco chain. So this would have a lot of positive benefits. I know a couple of the fundraisers that organize this, they're patriots. Two of them actually walked away from the Steinbart Media Group and ended up linking up with Ingersoll. So while they're not direct board members, they're very involved. I know Jason Matozo is very involved with purified water and different technologies like that. So I showed some of that to Jayse. I think it's cutting edge. I think it's absolutely incredible what they're doing.
Aren't they also are pushing for like carbon sequestering to push like a living soil model that will replenish
Correct.
like the fungal layer, the subsoil fungal layers that carry water and to use natural fertilizers. I mean, from nematodes, basically worm poop, like just to make it an all natural process as opposed to using these chemicals that, I mean, clearly we've had consistent problems with.
Absolutely, I would strongly agree with that. I'll leave it on this and I'll let Jayse take a little bit here. I'll say that in Trump's inauguration speech, where we just talked about like American Education Defenders, Health Defenders, all these hyperlinks, if you guys remember about an hour to 20 to an hour 30 into his inauguration speech, he said, we're going to unlock the secrets of the universe. And he got into all the healing and all that. I think that has everything to do as far as like space travel, replenishing food supplies, regenerating the earth, rejuvenating the earth. I think this has a lot to do with that portion of the inauguration speech, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, that stuff's all connected. You know what I mean? And it's connected to the UFO technology, man. You know what I mean?
Spot on.
That's why I harp on the UFO subject. It's not because I'm obsessed with spaceships. It's because that technology could completely change our world. You know what I mean? And it's being held on to by a group of evil people, and they're not letting the rest of the human race benefit from it. You know what I mean? Like, it could completely rewrite our whole paradigm on this planet. So that's why I'm always
agree
about the UFO stuff and the SSP stuff. And I know Jayse is into this stuff too, just like I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we'll get into that too later on the website. They talk specifically about the anti-gravity, technologies and bringing that back. So we'll get into that.
Their Space Force lab or whatever.
That's why they hide it from us, man, because they want to keep us enslaved. We would get out of our enslavement if we actually had access to the tech. So this is the big secret behind why they lie and they hide it. And it's really not a challenge to hide it. Like I have a lot of people that can't wrap their minds around, how do they hide? It's really not hard to cloak ships. Like
they're faster than the blink of an eye,
right,
and they're automatically invisible.
They're outside of our light spectrum. Our light spectrum is so small, and it's just, and this technology is really not even that complicated. They just cloak, and you'll never see them unless they want you to see them. And
Correct.
And that's how this has been kept secret for so long. And you think, well, where are they building this stuff? They're building it underground and out in space. You know what I mean? And then it cloaks and it leaves, and you never know what happened. And that's that. I mean, people do see UFOs, right? There are instances where they're phased in and you can see them, but overall, that level of technology, you're not going to see it unless remember Star Trek? They even told us in Star Trek. Remember? Those people cloaking on, cloaking off. Like it's when you get to that level of technology, it's not. And they were telling us with that show, man. They were telling us with that show. All right, so should I go to the history next, or what?
Can I comment on something about the carbon capture real quick?
Foil's got to catch up with the gold pills real quick.
Yeah, I thank you, Jay Brewskis, for the cookie, and thank you, 8 Virtues, for the shades. Much love.
Go ahead, Jayse.
So what I find really interesting about their kind of climate change approach, which they kind of get into in different parts of their website in more detail, but I'll just kind of summarize it here. Their stance is that, of course, the climate change politicization, if I can even say the word, politicization, and the general narrative being put out there is BS, and that it's to make money and it's to instill guilt on the population and everything that, we've already talked about many times over and over. But they do admit that there actually is a legitimate threat from climate change, but it's not quite what we think it is. And it's actually majorly because of the damage done to the ionosphere from HAARP, which they really get into, that because these groups have damaged the ionosphere so severely by putting holes in it over and over, yep, cosmic rays that normally would not be allowed into the planet are being let into the planet, mainly gamma radiation and X-rays. So this is the kind of climate change that we actually do need to be diligent about, because it's a reflection of what we have done to the planet what these groups have done to the planet, not from us driving cars and boats and all that stuff, but from them messing with the atmosphere by it's like
chemtrailing,
crazy,
sun shielding, and all that wild stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So I respect them for kind of saying, hey, like, that is BS, but there is a legitimate thing that we do need to kind of clean up with the planet, and it involves righting these wrongs that the elites have messed up with.
So this is off topic, right? But the Schumann, like, I've done a lot of research on the Schumann, right? And I can't figure out, like, it's dramatic, the dramatic change in it, right? In the last, 15 years now, something close to that. Like, I can't figure out I wonder how much of us damaging the ionosphere has anything to do with the rapid changes in the Schumann. You know what I mean? Like,
yes. No, I think you're really spot on there. They link to a documentary on their website about HAARP, and they basically allude to that. And what's even crazier that I just found out is that Dr. Schumann, who coined that phrase, not only was he a part of Project Paperclip and a Nazi, but he was a Vril Society member and a Thule Society member, right? So we just figured this out, and we're like, we need to rename this frequency because we're naming it after a Vril Society Nazi, and calling it the Schumann resonance. We have to call it like the Gaia resonance or something, because it'd be like, calling all space stuff after von Braun, the Nazi, it's like not what we should be doing. And something that's been hidden, right? Like, I only found out about that because of this documentary that they put on their website. And then I did some digs and I was like, wow, this is the same Schumann.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, you know what I would pose as a question to you, Jayse. I mean, a lot of this stuff, when we get into like symbology and hidden technologies, it's all stuff that was stolen from us. I would almost wonder or theorize that Schumann probably stole it from somewhere and turned it into a dark black project.
Yeah. And that's one thing that Alexis has really been kind of honing in on, is the military side of the Schumann resonance, and that a lot of what we're seeing could be being created by man-made, machines, kind of like, remember a few years back when there was that huge wave of pulses that were 17 seconds apart that rippled across the planet.
Correct.
Now, 17, hopefully that was from a positive group giving us a sign, but still that technology exists where they can manipulate the natural frequencies of the planet to such a degree that we might think it's natural,
Mountain Lace coming with the cam. Your shows are always interesting and fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
for your support, Mountain Lake. All right, so you know what I'm wondering too? You know, Alexis she brought this up on the last Space Force News. The weird lines sometimes that'll come into the Schumann, it's like it's being altered or played with or whatever. So I have to wonder how much. I mean, this is totally off topic from the Ingersoll stuff, but I have to wonder how much of it is directly being altered by either white hats or black hats with that level of technology. You know what I mean? Like how much of it's natural interaction between, you know.
I wonder the same. And yeah, truthfully, we don't know. And we won't until, I guess, more information comes out or we can prove it scientifically.
Right.
A really good point, Alara. Great point.
I mean, I've always wanted, there's been patterns in it too before, you guys, like patterns that were like not really natural.
Well, that Punisher skull looks like it keeps coming up, right? As a picture. Like,
yeah, I've seen that. I've
over
seen
and
an
over. That
angel
seems
in there.
like
Weird stuff. Yeah.
That could be a good sign that white hats have control. And then with Schumann too, the other thing is apparently he was working on anti-gravity projects. Apparently he was working with vortex physics and anti-gravity to create anti-gravitic engines. And so from that to the Schumann resonance, he was just kind of working in these, frequency sciences and vortex physics. And he, I don't want to assume that he was a negative guy because some of the people, in these groups were pushed into it. But the fact that he was a Vril Society member, from what it seems, that seems kind of intentional, so I guess history future will prove past.
Do you guys want to go into this? I think we should read a little bit of this history because this is where you get into the site and you're like, what? Are they trolling us? This is where you start to think that, and then we'll carry on into the other stuff. So let me show them real quick and read some of this off. All right. So if you go into the history on this website, and if Will, could you drop the link to the website in the chat?
I was just going to do that.
Everybody can kind of follow along with what's going on here. All right, so in the late 1800s, our namesake, Ingersoll Lockwood, delivered futuristic and visionary content over a century ahead of time. Rumor has it that he passed on this knowledge to S.G. Samuels, Sr., who shared the Great Awakening Plan, also known as the Plan for the Patriotic American Century, with Stephen G. Samuels, Jr., followed by our entire team who continue to carry on this tradition today. Our mission is to build a brighter future for humanity, starting with the resurgence of American exceptionalism and strong defense of constitutional rights. Our namesake, Ingersoll Lockwood. Then the next bullet point, time traveler, ? Mystery man, ? Futurist. Our mission, we leverage what our founder called future vision, where we deliver solutions based on trade secret predictive intelligence team technology, also known as TSPI, a mix of futurist inventions, artificial intelligence, and machine learning, all used for the good of humanity. We communicate publicly on our own open source intelligence platforms as trusted media sources. We unleash new technology safeguards to defend humanity from novel threats and to accelerate the Great Awakening. We accelerate the Great Awakening. I can think of various ways that that's being accelerated using technologies, essentially. That's interesting. That wording right there. We market our solutions first on our own open source intelligence media platforms, then on strategic mainstream media platforms. We profit, invent, fund, license, develop, and sell. We reinvest and donate to the USA 501(c) causes. Government, commercial, international, focus on making America truly awesome again. Management team. Ingersoll Lockwood staff includes a unique mix of entrepreneurs, technologists, and investors. While our team represents a diverse array of backgrounds, its members share similar traits: deep knowledge of their chosen field, strategic vision, and a dedication, our core mission, delivering solutions that address the critical technology needs of the national security community. First and foremost, our founder required that what we do must deliver American exceptionalism and must be made in America with pride. And then it goes on to list the board of directors. So should I go ahead and look up some of these board of directors? Should we find out, guys, who's running the show over here?
Real quick, I want to point out an Easter egg that someone just pointed out to me in terms of the capital letters. So you notice like all the other capital letters have parentheses of their, what they mean. Right. And in the very last line that you just read, first and foremost, founder required that we must deliver American exceptionalism and must be made in America with pride. If you take those capital letters and you rearrange just a few, it spells made map.
That's interesting because, you know, Trump used anagrams all the time. I used to, but when the
Yep.
operation was going on, we are on YouTube, guys. But yeah, when the operation was going on, I caught on to that pretty quick. And I used to, as soon as Trump would tweet anything with capital letters, I was like on the anagram. And so many times I caught stuff that was like, you know what I mean? So I know he was doing that for sure. Did anybody else catch that stuff? All the anagrams in his tweets and stuff?
I did, and another thing that I also caught too with this particular website is, and I think Jayse, you'll remember this, they had all the links to the executive orders, especially when they first put up the countdown, especially pertaining to EO 13848. And then they also had a piece, it's archived. To take me a little while to get to it, but I do have it saved in my WikiLeaks file, where they actually have an article called "The Great Awakening versus the Great Reset." It's really incredible,
Yeah.
and it almost reminds me of the drops. It's incredibly coded, but you know what you're looking at.
Right. Wild. All right. Which one should I look up first? Stephen Samuels, the chairman?
We can start there.
Okay. So let me pull him up while you guys we're talking. I'll go ahead and pull the data I can find on him up.
Yeah, Johnny, I think that article you're referring to, I'm pretty sure they still have a link to it, which we can reference after we
Yeah,
go
they
through these
do.
tabs.
You can search it and type it and get there. It used to be on the main page, but they switched their links so much.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And then a little trick too for the countdown, because there's a back door to the countdown. You have to actually refresh, and because a lot of people click on it and be like, oh, it's not moving. But if you actually clear the cache and refresh it, it will update for you. And that date will take you to pretty much midnight at 9:17 going into 9:18. And there's a little bit of a tie with McAfee there, which is rather interesting. I'll get into that a little later.
Okay, so just to show who some of these guys are that are on the board of directors, so this is from Cyber Defense Magazine, newsletter from January, Cyber Warnings e-magazine. So this guy, do you want to talk about a little bit? This is the same guy, right? Samuels? I think so.
Yes, correct. Although I would point the direction a little bit more towards Gary Miliefsky, who was a founder of DHS and also is like a cyber defense wizard. If you look into Gary Miliefsky, who's very active.
I don't see him on the list. Where is he? I see James Gorman.
Right. So, Jayse, did you want to take us to that link that you showed us last Sunday, where you can kind of show us
Sure.
the Samuels last name connection?
So go ahead and Alara, type into your search the name Stephen G. Samuels and then put LLC.
Okay, so let's see.
Is that linked to the original Stephen G. Samuels?
Yeah, they don't have a link to it on their website, but what you'll find is that there is a company registered to the name Stephen G. Samuels, and there's
How do you
multiple.
spell Samuels?
Samuels.
Samuel Samuels, and then put LLC. Stephen G.
Yeah.
Samuels, LLC publisher in Las Vegas. Is that him?
Yep. Which ironically is where my book came from. It shipped from a 111 address in Las Vegas.
Okay, so I have the page pulled up here. Which link should I be clicking on here, guys? I'm gonna put it up on the screen so you guys can see it.
Yeah. Okay. If you have the business kind of page up,
Right here.
just
Open.
referring to the business, scroll down and look at who owns the business.
NevadaRegister.com. That one.
There should be a name. You should see like a person's name.
Nevada Register, Stephen Samuels, active,
Oh,
domestic.
yeah. Sorry. Click on. I didn't realize you're still on Google. Click on that first link,
Okay, so
or really any of them should work.
this one, the first one. Okay.
The open corporates, is that the one you want?
Yeah, this one right here. Okay.
Yeah, try the open corporates one. Really, any of them will work as long as they show the actual business and who it's registered to.
It's 848 North Rainbow Boulevard in Las Vegas. What am I looking for on this site for specifically? Open corporates.
There it is. That's the right site. Open corporates. Yeah. So scroll down. Sorry, my thing's a little delayed on the viewing. See where it says directors, officers? Look at the name there.
Yeah, the first name.
Oh, okay. Gary Esk. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Something. He's a manager.
Miliefsky.
Mail Link LLC agent and Stephen V. Miliefsky manager. Okay.
So this is kind of the dig that, you know, people have to go through to really figure out who's kind of, you know, running what's going on here.
And who is this guy?
Well, go ahead and look him up now.
Gary Miliefsky?
Yeah.
Can I just click on his name? Or no, copy and paste it?
Yeah, copy and paste it into like Google or DuckDuckGo.
Okay.
And see what comes up. But you'll find that essentially he's very connected to all of these groups that Ingersoll is working with.
Hey, Alara, I have a question. Are you able to pull something off your Discord? Not right this second, but after this, because I got something I want to show you, Jason Foyle. This is gonna, after you show him the Stephen Samuel stuff here, this is gonna kind of blow your guys' mind too.
Our publisher, Cyber Defense Magazine. So it says, and this is the first link right here. I'm showing them on the screen right now. Gary Miliefsky from DHS, Cyber Defense Magazine. CISSP,
Yes.
Cyber Defense Magazine.
There you go.
Can I play this clip or what? Should we play the clip or just read who he is?
Just read. I think we're good.
Okay, so Gary Miliefsky is an internationally recognized cybersecurity expert, best-selling author, and keynote speaker. He is a founding member of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the National Information Security Group, and the Oval Advisory Board of MITRE, responsible for the CVE program. He also assisted the National Infrastructure Advisory Council, which operates within the U.S. Department of Homeland Security in their development of the National Strategy to Secure Cyberspace, as well as the Center for the Study of Counterterrorism, Cybercrime at Norwich University. Gary has been founder and or inventor for technologies and corporations sold and licensed to Hexus, Cyber, WatchGuard, Intel, McAfee. Oh, interesting.
There you go. There's
IBM,
one connection.
Computer Associates, Black
Yes.
Box Corporation. Gary's a member of ISC2.org and is a CISSP. He founded and remains the publisher of Cyber Defense Magazine. He is a frequent invited guest on national and international media, commenting on breaches, cybercrime, Internet of Things, cloud computing, digital transformation, artificial intelligence, privacy, cybersecurity, and cyber terrorism. He has also been covered in Forbes, Fortune, and etc. He is also an expert on cryptocurrencies and related fraud, as well as most issues pertaining to ICOs, Bitcoins, blockchain, and ransomware. His recent best-selling book, rated 5 stars, is entitled Crypto Economy, Bitcoins, Blockchains, Bad Guys. Wow.
A good name, right?
The guy is incredible. I've had a couple
Whoa, dude.
brief conversations with him. The guy is an absolute genius.
Okay, so, all right, so that's, is there any of these other names that I could point out quickly? Because I want to get into some of this other stuff on the site, and we're already at 11:41. So,
I would say
Well,
that's the most important thing.
That's the important thing, yeah.
right.
Like the other military guys, you could look up the retired Navy and Army people on the board. I would say people can look that up in their own time, but
Right.
this is definitely the most significant in the dig.
Okay. And then as far as portfolio goes, where should I go in portfolio here? I want to show them first how, where is that stuff on there about, you know, Majestic, and where you're like, what? You know
So
what
if you go to the portfolio,
yeah.
but rather than clicking the portfolio tab, just hover over it
Okay.
and then scroll down
To
to Space Force Labs.
Space Force Labs. All right. Here we go. Okay, I got Space Force Labs pulled up right now. So
And
this is
then
under
you can kind of
portfolio.
go through.
Ongoing R&D, gravity reduction and anti-gravity, Tesla-based spacecraft accelerator. We must
And look what
travel.
it says.
Go
Easy
ahead.
work if you have the original designs of the Hanabu 1 through 3, and easy work if you have copies of the stolen Tesla papers.
Yeah, this is one
The
of the
Han-
first things I saw, and I was like, what? What is going on here with this? This isn't a legit defense contractor. And I was like, no, it actually is. What is happening here? We must travel into the past before we can explore our future in space. And it goes on to list Majestic 12. It's got these Hanabu designs. Is there anything you want to bring up on this page specifically, Jayse and Johnny?
I'll just add one little quick thing. You know, I can see how people would think this appears to be a troll,
Right.
and it is, but it's not a troll to humanity. It's a troll to the deep state, and it's a troll to the cabal. That's what I would argue.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's connected to legitimate people.
So on
Correct.
this page, they have all the links to every space policy directive from the White House or otherwise,
Right.
for Space Force. And these are all the official links. And then at the bottom, they have the pictures of the Space Force badge. But if you scroll back up to the top, and where you read, we must travel into the past before we can explore our future in space.
Yeah.
If you click on that, that's a link.
Oh,
that'll take you
that
to a more secret page.
a super secret squirrel page.
And there is audio on this, just a heads up.
Oh.
Trump's audio.
Citizens will not dwindle, but instead only grow stronger by the day.
You
Our
can pause it
traditions
if
will
you
be
scroll
cherished.
down
Our faith will
under
be
the
strong,
MJ12. There's a
and
play
our
button. Then
future
Do I
if you
will
wanna
click
be
play it
pause,
or
brighter
no?
Than ever before. The
it's
best
a
is
quote
yet
from Trump,
to come.
and then it ends, and then it's just music, so you don't have to
All
play
right.
it.
So how do I pause it? By doing what?
Scroll down under the MJ12 picture, and then there's a play
Oh,
button that you can
got
click
it.
pause.
Okay. So what? Where would you like me to
So
go with? Oh,
Just,
right here.
yeah, start moving through this, and you'll find why it's interesting.
Okay, the following remains confidential, blah, 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 blah. Ingersoll Lockwood Incorporated. You are here. You found us. Read, enjoy, take it as you will within our fair and reasonable legal requests and requirements, our own site. We own all the content and grant no rights. With that said, let Ingersoll Lockwood take you on a whirlwind adventure from 1945 to 2030. Stephen, I assure you, young lad, when I'm about to show you, only time travelers or those from another galaxy far, far away could command this kind of technology. Take notes, pass them on, and share only when the time is right. To defeat what is coming, look to Germany, to a group called the Nazis. When they arrive on the scene, they will be given too much of this technology too fast and will fail to deploy it properly. They will infiltrate and slow down progress at a new American space agency, but you will have other places to help guide America to exploit this technology until the last president, then move it all into his Operation Space Force. Wow.
Wow.
Remember, first, it will be the Germans who gain this technology, then we will have it, and then you will be faced with the threat from China after the last president, but he will surely know what to do. Only trust him and disclose when he authorizes you to do so, said Ingersoll Lockwood. Towards the end of World War II, the Nazi scientists made a significant breakthrough in new weapons technology, from sound cannons, advanced machine guns, tanks, ion and lightning cannons, rockets, and even anti-gravity devices, including flying saucers. The history you've been taught about Hitler's death, the end of the war, and the finality of the Third Reich is actually not based on facts, but based on propaganda and fiction. This diary takes all the relevant facts, fills in some of the blanks, and leaves it to you to decide what is actually going to happen in 2030. Some of the questions you might ask yourself: did Adolf Hitler have numerous doubles and escaped to Base 211 in Antarctica or to Argentina? Does the Nazi Base 211 still exist today? Is it operational? If so, where is it located, and what are they planning? Have you guys heard too about how allegedly the Germans are all like leaving Antarctica? Have you heard about this? I've heard about this from multiple sources. This is why I'm starting to think it's accurate.
Where are they going?
Seen. I would guess the ones that have the access through the gates are going through gates, but I would say probably most of them don't have that kind of access, and they're having to leave on planes. But I guess there's, so. I mean,
but are they leaving off planet, or are they leaving to Germany, or where do you think they're going?
They're leaving Antarctica. I don't know.
Probably spreading out all over the globe to try to take us over and enslave us because they can't perfect the technology. That would be my theory.
But I mean, I hear that I definitely have heard from multiple sources that it's definitely a possibility that they are starting to leave that, which would mean that they no longer have the control that they once did. You know what I mean? If they're vacating, because that's one of their main areas. Now are they going off planet, or are they just going to Argentina or somewhere? I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't even know. I don't even have sauce to back up that they're leaving Antarctica. Really, it's just something I've heard from multiple sources that once I start to hear it that many times from different places, I start to think there might be validity to it. You know what I mean?
Well, they do allude to that. A lot of the sightings happening are these Nazi craft, whether they're the old ones or they're new ones, and which goes back to what you were saying, Alara, about like that likely the majority of craft that we can physically see are the clunk metal spaceship kind of craft, and not the energy craft, because those are
Right.
usually out of the frequency that we can see anyways. But the ones that you might actually literally see physically flying through the sky as a metal spaceship are probably majorly these kind of technologies. Yeah.
Right, are us. That's the feeling I get on it too. Like the a lot of these etheric craft and these energy craft. I mean, in my estimation, now I could be wrong. I don't have all the answers, but they feel like ET to me. And these more clunky sort of spaceships that are outside of our vision. You know what I mean? That those are, and I call them clunky only because they're very physical and metallic, and just. It seems like the more advanced, extraterrestrials, they tend to use these etheric craft, you know what I mean? And mainly because I think their home is in another dimension. It's not in ours. It's not in a physical dimension. I mean, they may have a level of physicality to them, and same with their craft, but they operate more on a different, I don't really have the words to articulate what I'm trying to say, but I think Jayse gets what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're spot on.
Did working anti-gravity flying saucers make it into production? Are all the UFOs that seem to be popping up globally coming from the Nazis and not from aliens? Or are they test flights of old Nazi technology finally made operational by the US and the Russians? What are the Nazis waiting for? Are they preparing to attack us? Or have they already started to implement their agenda? I think whatever's gone on between the Nazis and the cabal, I think that their agreements have long been in cooperation. Let's put it that way. They've long known about each other, and they've long been in cooperation. And I think it's really likely, too, that those saucers that went over in the 50s were some sort of threat from them. You know what I mean? And that's probably when arrangements were made between them. And they've had to get along on some level because they're both in outer space, both groups. You know what I mean? So
I would agree.
Yeah, right? I mean, it would all... So
I have a question for you guys. I was thinking about this last night between like the Fourth Reich kind of threat and the Chinese, kind of threat on the most elite levels, and who's really at the core of it. Do you think that the Fourth Reich is ultimately behind the CCP?
Oh yeah, I would.
Or do you think they're different?
I think it links directly to the. I think it links directly to the cabal, and there's just many factions of it, just like the Illuminati. I would say that it all links together.
What? Okay, let me get this straight. Maybe you guys know the answer to this. The Fourth Reich would be the Antarctic Germans, right? The Fifth Reich is the space Germans, right? The ones that are off planet already, out in space. Correct?
I don't know. I guess it comes down to semantics, what they call themselves, but
yeah, they just use labels. I mean, it's like repackaged, but as and resold is a different name. But yeah, I kind of agree with you, Jayse. It all comes under the same thing, under different labels.
Well, I was recently rewatching some of the Marvel movies because they have a lot of disclosure, especially like the Captain America ones with the Nazis, and they call it Hydra, but Hydra is basically the Fourth Reich. And in the movies, they kind of explicitly show that the Hydra group was a breakaway group from the main Nazi Third Reich, and they actually were fighting each other near the end. Like it seemed like Hitler was trying to give orders to the Fourth Reich group that had this kind of tech, and they eventually were like, well, we're more powerful than you, so you can kind of scurry off and we're going to continue what we want to do. And so in that sense, there could be like a ton of different Reichs if they're just different breakaway groups and they're calling themselves like the next number Reich, right? Like, but who knows at that point?
That's a really interesting theory, because we know absolute power corrupts absolutely, and these groups infight whether they're evil and they're on the same side. Greed is insatiable.
Yeah. And foil, I've been thinking lately, nothing's, it's hard for me to believe these abstract things you hear or whatever about, there's winds going on. Like, I know there's a space program and stuff's going on out there, but how do I have any way of knowing what's actually happening and what's not? You know what I mean? But it's interesting because I've been thinking, nothing's happening with disclosure. We got this stupid preliminary report that had almost nothing in it, but it did have a few little tidbits and things anyway. But I was almost nothing in it. And now they don't even talk about the ships and but it's interesting. Foyle's going to be going over the Defense Authorization Act for 2022 on her channel on Tuesday, and there's stuff in there about the UFOs. There's happenings going on with the UFO thing that are not really publicly known right now. Foyle, can you fill us in on what's happening in the Defense Authorization Act with the UFO subject?
I was going to go through the Intelligence Authorization Act, which is fed into the defense. They all tie together, but I mean, there's a lot more than just the UFO ties there. I mean, yes, the UFOs, they want quarterly reports, and they want the reports to include all sightings, and then they want any following reports to include any sightings that have not been mentioned in any previous report. So basically they want all the information. I mean, it feels like they're kind of taking it seriously now. And I did have something to say with respect to the China question. I personally have a theory that the reason the China threat is being somewhat taken seriously now is that China is at odds with the cabal. I think these people thought they could control Xi and the CCP, and that they I don't think they're having that. I don't think China is having that. I think China is, and this, I mean, at the moment, the China threat, you know, that the cabal perceives and that we perceive as the American people, this is something in alignment at the moment. You know, I mean, the ultimate goals may be somewhat different, because we know that the cabal wants to maintain this Western dominance, and I think they thought that President Xi and the CCP would be subsumed into this global economic order. I mean, they knew that eventually there would be some sort of antagonism between the two, but I think they ultimately thought they could manage it. And now they've recognized that that's probably not where we're at. I think the cabal and China are at odds, personally, in my opinion.
Do you think Xi is part of one of the cabal factions, or do you think he's kind of like China's Trump and cleaning up the cabal over there?
I think Xi is about himself and you know, the CCP specifically. I don't, yes, he does, you know, his policy is China first. Every country's policy should be to put their own country first.
Okay.
Unless
you
you're
know,
Biden.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
that guy's an asshat. But ideally, you know, ideally, Russia should be about Russia first. China should be about China first. U.S. should be about U.S. first. Like it's very simple. But I truly think that there is a long ingrained notion, especially within Chinese the party constituents. They're very upset about what they call the 100 years of humiliation, you know, where Western powers came in, colonized, dominated, exploited resources, whatever, and that they see this kind of as a get back, you know, truly. I mean, it's you know, in their culture, being humiliated or being dishonored is not a slight to be taken, you know,
Right.
Simply. I mean, this is a thing. And I mean, from British imperialist powers to the you know, American containment strategies and everything else that's been used over there. And like I said, I think ultimately, you know, the deep state thought they were going to be able to control and or direct China's efforts with help from the outside world. But I think that they have wildly lost control of the situation. And it's interesting that Ingersoll Lockwood page mentions that China would be the next threat, you know, because clearly it is.
Watching play out right now.
Yeah. Yep. I've been hearing. Go ahead. Sorry.
I just wanted to mention too that we went into this a while back where I got to remember to keep the mic right here so I don't, you know, about how we're not sharing the moon samples with China. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, I mean, even our space programs are wildly diverging at this point. Like you know, people used to push this idealistic notion that space was going to be this, you know, like communal grounds of peace, and it never was that.
Right.
It was always going to be the military high ground. Like there was no other way for this to play out. It was always going to be that. Unfortunately. And China, instead of playing into this like utopian notion, has just been like, you know, F that. We're about to do this, whether you want to or not. I mean, clearly that's what their theft of intellectual property and everything else that they have built their technological regime around, you know, was based off of stealing from other people, but with the goal of taking that tech, improving it, and then doing their own thing from the beginning.
Hey, the Federation has to be out there regulating some of this stuff, right? Like, even though we don't see them, we don't get to talk to them, we don't get to hang out with them, they have to be out there on some level regulating, right?
There has to be control up there. Yeah.
I heard recently that there was some kind of, I don't know if you want to call it a vote or like a decision being made on kind of the Galactic Federation levels about which country on Earth was going to be allowed to lead Earth into the space program officially for the public. And I guess it was between, from what I've heard, I can't verify this, but I heard it was between the US and China, which makes sense, as you know, the top two of the top three superpowers. But That's kind of an interesting thing if that is true, to think about, like, what would that look like if China was the one that was chosen to lead us in the space?
China is
race?
building their own space stations where they're not going to be cooperating with us. Russia is looking to have a presence with them. Russia has further aligned themselves with China since Biden's sham election than a lot of people thought possible. I mean, I've said this for months. If Trump would have won that election, I think Russia would have kind of rocked with us. Now we've got, this clown in office, and I mean, they see the writing on the wall. They're like, oh, this is all bad. Let's go over here and do this. Like,
right, I would agree with that.
They're looking out for them.
Considering that Biden was very close to uranium one in the Clinton administration too, because they're all the same people. So Russia knows they're compromised and they don't have to listen to them.
Exactly.
And I imagine Putin and the other world leaders have a pretty good idea of the fact that Biden isn't the legitimate president and that this is all some kind of sham. And I'm sure they're kind of quaking in their shoes because they don't really know what's going on over here. Like, they know the presidency and the E word were illegitimate. But
that Biden pushes constantly, this I don't know, it's almost like American subservience, like it's, that he's okay with that. And the rest, especially in the East, Russia and China, they look at this as the fall of American dominance, period. This is their chance, right? I mean, this is their chance. That's how they see it now.
Right.
But I think on the higher levels, they know that it's not legitimate. Like, they know that Biden is a sham.
A fifth grader in Nigeria knows that this was some shenanigans.
You can't convince me that Trump didn't go around talking to all these world leaders long before he knew this was going to happen. There's no, and 100%. I'm one of those people that I can't get out there with theory anymore, like, without there being, lots of sauce to back it up type of thing. But the chances, man, of with his personality and his disposition, you know what I mean, to have not spoken to all of those dudes and had some level of understanding about what was about to happen, and it seems completely unlikely to me. I don't know. It doesn't resonate, man. It doesn't resonate that he would just hand the keys over to Clown Boy and let the chips fall where they may. You know what I mean? Oops, they stole the election. Like, right. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't really see it playing out like that, right? But I can't let my mind go too far into, okay, then what's really going on, right? Because there's no decoding it. What we know for sure is that this is a geopolitical shit show. Yeah, that's all. That's accurate. I mean, that's a fact. Like, we know that for a fact. Now we can start with the fact that this is a total shit show. Now what? I mean, I'm nuts and bolts. So there's got to be stuff we don't understand going on that just. Well, there's always, always. Right. But me, I want to see. Show me. Mm-hmm. Show me. Right. I've always been like that. Yeah, I know, Foil. Show you. Okay, so guys, we're up on an hour now, so we should probably start taking calls soon. Is there any more stuff that we really need to show to everybody before we open up the phone lines for calls about this Ingersoll Lockwood site?
There is one little thing I wanted to show you. I don't know if Jayse has seen this yet or not, but
I can't pull
screenshot.
I can't pull that. I can't pull it up. Can you describe what it is? I mean, I've saw it, you guys, but I can't pull it up on the screen.
I'll probably just have to leave it for the next one then, because if I do that, it's going to be half, and yeah, we'll do it on the next one.
Let's do a part 2. I have a question. We're going to need to do a part 2 on this, dude. There's too much. Like, at least one more.
I'm going to be doing like a whole mini series on my channel too, diving into basically each page individually as its own video and going into it. So I assume that this is going to kind of start blowing up on YouTube too, because there's not really anyone on YouTube talking or making videos about this. So
yeah.
I have a question for you guys. Okay. Sure. And I want to start by saying that, there are people out there that think that this entire thing is like a joke, right? But I will say this, just from what I've personally looked at, Ingersoll Lockwood seems to be some sort of umbrella company that has a bunch of very verifiable, wholly owned subsidiaries, including a lot, with their work in the quantum encryption and cybersecurity, specifically Cythereal, the company Cythereal, which has won competitions. I mean, you know, they were named the winner at the top 100 cybersecurity startups at Black Hat 2020. You know, it's a very real thing. Now, what I know is that they got a large part of their funding from DARPA, and I tend personally to distrust anything that is attached to DARPA. Those people are mad scientists, and I'm not saying that they don't come up with some awesome things, but I think a lot of times their tech ends up being co-opted for shenanigans. They got a lot of their DARPA funding originally from the Cyber Genome Project, which was a DARPA project that was started like, I don't know.
I'm showing it on the screen right now while you're talking.
Oh, okay. That started like in the mid, like, I don't know, 2010 or something. And the goal of that project was to be able to track every piece of information or document or freaking meme or any attack vectors that would come via the internet back to the individual user, almost like making your cyber information as identifiable as your DNA, right? Which I am also very skeptical of anything that wants. It's too much supervision. It's an invasion of like I don't trust that. What do you think about the fact that DARPA is tied to some of these subsidiary companies?
It's a good question. I think that I'll give two quick examples. So one, I always use the like Pegasus, for example. People totally, I don't know if you guys heard my whole dig on Pegasus because Flynn has ties to Pegasus. And when I dug into that, I realized this wasn't like post 9/11 data mining. That was a target list. And if you look at the main people they were targeting corrupt diplomats and possible clown news agents. So surveillance and counter surveillance goes both ways. And I would say that with any technology, like we talked about, it really depends on the hands it falls in. Yeah, some stuff comes out of some bad places. I can definitely agree with that. But I also think that some of these people that we looked at on these boards and just knowing the companies that they were previously involved in, they've walked away. Like I know one of them was a Disney member and they walked away from these companies, and I guarantee that there's a reason behind that.
Right.
Just like I could use Steve Mnuchin. I the other day it kind of blew my mind. He was with Goldman Sachs for how many years? 17 years.
Right.
There's that number again. So how much inside knowledge does he have, or was he made angry and left? Did he not really leave on good terms? And now that's why he's working with Trump. Moves and counter moves. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think I would agree. And I would say like there obviously like what you're saying, Foil, with the potential of the negative being able to have super surveillance and stuff like that potential exists. But if we look at it, what they can do with it in the hands of the light, you know, the white hats, so to say, if they had it, this could be used to not only disprove deepfake videos, but also to legitimize videos that are implementing people in crimes that they try to say are deepfakes. So like say if Clinton videos come out or more Hunter Biden videos come out and they're trying to claim this, you know, they're deepfakes, which is the narrative they've been building up that everything's going to be a deepfake that looks bad. But with this, they could actually say, look, we found the source. It locates back to this laptop, this person, like they're going to prison for life because we've decidedly, you know, figured out it's them. So I could see it going both ways, but I would say like looking at the rest of the context of the website and what they seem to be aligned with, I'm leaning more towards that that's what it is.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead, Jayse.
I was just going to say definitely something to still be discerning about and like keep in mind. I think we should constantly question these things.
All right, let me I'm going to ditch the Discords. It's not making noise anymore. I'm going to go ahead and let 231 in, and then Gary Flessner I will be letting in next.
The website and what they seem to be aligned
so with. 213, if you could please mute your stream.
I'm going to go ahead.
213.
You got me?
Well, welcome to the Conspiracy Couch. Can we get a name for you?
Dan from West Michigan.
Hi, Dan.
Hi.
Thank you for doing this. I've had this shortcut on my desktop for months, maybe over a year. And I've looked at it a little bit here and there, but I'm a small business owner. I haven't had the time to dig into it. Thank you for doing this. I have a question for you I forgot to ask last time. What's going on in Cheyenne Mountain? That place has been locked up since March of 2020. What have they been doing in there?
I didn't know that.
It's been locked up? What do you know about it, Foil?
They locked because of the pandemic.
It's just essentially that. the same day. But I mean, Cheyenne Mountain was always continuity of government location, right? One of the continuity of government.
It's been locked up since when?
March of 2020.
March of 2020.
So basically when everything hit in the mainstream, when the pandemic hit on a...
Haven't heard nothing about those poor bastards been locked in there. Now, recently, Cheyenne Mountain, there's two entrances, and it was designed so that if it was ever hit with a nuclear weapon, the tunnel goes through the mountain. Mm-hmm. The complex is doors those big doors we see are doors that go back into the mountain. So if it ever got hit, the blast would go through the tunnel and dissipate, and the complex would be left mostly untouched. But yeah, I've been digging on it. I cannot find anything other than they locked it up March 2020.
Yeah, the Washington Post had done an article about them securing what they call no-fail missions. And then after that, there's very little mention of what's going on there at all.
You know,
or at least that I've seen.
Rise just brought up devolution. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a possibility, guys. Like, for sure.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
The whole devolution thing, continuity of government, So anyway, I just wanted to bring it up and maybe open it up for discussion. But thank you for doing the dive on Ingersoll Lockwood.
Well, thank you for calling.
Yeah, thank you much for calling. Yeah, excellent point with that. Yeah, it's got me thinking. We're going to have to really look into that, Foil. That's interesting. I didn't even know that. That's interesting. We're going to have to look into that more. Yeah, I think we're going to be doing a part 2, probably in a part 3, and Jay's got his series coming up over on his channel. So definitely go and check that out. Thank you so much for your call.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I kind of get the feeling they're like clearing out dumbs is intuitively the hit I've been getting since basically Trump was in office, but especially when the pandemic hit
too. Yeah,
I think so too.
I noticed
nefarious stuff is going on down there, dude.
Well,
like,
do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember when? And again, DARPA had put out that emergency call that they needed underground training facilities, like they wanted secured underground training facilities. They posted on like a Friday and needed some stuff by like Monday or whatever it was, that they were to train their robots to function underground and in what could potentially be taken as maybe underground installations.
I don't know, man. You would think that the Galactic Federation would be working on that with the Earth Alliance. You know what I mean? There is an Earth Alliance, and of human beings, right? You would then that are white hats allegedly, and so you would think that the Galactic Federation would be assisting with that on some level, cleaning all that. I mean, that would seem like a massive cleanup effort, cleaning out all those dumbs from all the nefarious characters, because the nefarious characters down there, guys, are not just human beings. You know what I mean? You have all kinds of nefarious characters with all kinds of interdimensional sort of skill sets. How else do you put it? You know what I mean? Like Right. I would think that cleaning up something of that magnitude would require, benevolent beings of that order to help assist with that type of thing. And I can only hope and pray that that's what's going on down there. Welcome to the Conspiracy Couch, Gary Flessner. How are you doing today?
Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
My new headset and mic kicks ass.
Let me make a quick comment real quick. I just want to let everybody know on Twitch, DLive, and YouTube, I can't see your comments. I don't know what happened, but something went wonky with the screen, and like I could see like half of each sentence and not the rest. So just to let you guys know, I cannot see what you're saying over there. I can only see what the foxhole is saying. Go ahead, Gary.
These are the #1 gaming headset in the country, and I go to Belushi's show. They are true sound surround. Can you hear my fan?
No.
This mic is so good, I can go into the equalizer and pull down where the fan tone is, and now you can't hear it, so I don't have to shut it off.
Well, that's nifty.
This is what I've been told, and he signs those surgency letters. He can sign it. He don't have to turn it into Congress. He can hand it to a general, and they can act on it anytime they want. He handed it to the general that's in Cheyenne Mountain. He went into Cheyenne Mountain with his people, and they're doing their job, devolution or whatever you want to call it. And Biden tried firing him. You know what the general did? You can't fire me. He tried firing him and he couldn't. Why? Because he has a piece of paper that overrides anything Biden tries to do.
So, somebody just brought up about this. I really hope, somebody brought up something about really hope the dumb stuff. There is actually sauce to back it up, you guys. Like, really, the earthquakes. If you analyze the earthquakes we've been having and stuff like that, they're not earthquakes, and you can actually tell the difference between them. I have a couple friends that actually dig on this stuff, and they're kind of like experts when it comes to underground signatures and stuff. These things that are happening appear to be explosions. They're not earthquakes. And if you match them up with the locations, it's always near these really significant dumps. So there really is some data. There really is some data to back up the fact that we are taking out these dumps. Now, who exactly is doing it? And
there's so much going on we can't see right now. Right. It's unbelievable. Okay, then the other thing. Are these guys cute?
What guys?
What you're talking about?
Oh, they actually on their website there's a Q&A, and one of the questions is, are you guys 17? And they say no, we're not, but they do support it.
Right. Gary, we're on YouTube. Gary, we're on YouTube. I just don't want to lose the video because that's what they'll do. They'll pull it down. It's okay. YouTube. I know.
I'll clean up the words then.
Thank you.
So
they're on X. They're X.
Right. Yeah.
So I'll answer the question too with this. When I interviewed Paul Hemphill during the show, and of course I did this of all people, I just went ahead and asked him the Q, and I said, so is Ingersoll familiar with 17? Uh-huh. And the answer he gave me pretty much made my hair stand up. Two things that he told me. One, yes, they are incredibly sympathetic with 17 and very, very aware of the posts. Paul wasn't too familiar with it, but I can guarantee you the board members are incredibly familiar with it. That was a huge validation. And another thing that came up on Ingersoll, between 2003 and 2006, John McAfee bought a company from Gary Miliefsky. Very little known fact. So do with that what you will.
I mean, I haven't looked into him that much, but man, the little I saw, the old X kept popping in front of my eyes, and just the show. And me, if it starts popping in front of my eyes, there's got to be something there. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh,
it's like woo stuff with you guys. That's woo to me,
I guess woo really is the more ethereal stuff, but what was I totally lost my train of thought. What was I going to say just now?
I do that all the time.
Who's that guy? Can you tell everybody who that guy is and his connection to Ingersoll Lockwood? Johnny?
Which guy? Paul?
Yeah, the guy you interviewed.
So that was really interesting. I got this after kind of hearing about I kind of got turned on to Ingersoll, and shout out to one of my moderators from True Reporting, Sunny Skies. She kind of paid attention to one of Santa Surfing's digs, and everybody's, oh, look, there's an Ingersoll company. And I don't know why. When I looked at that, it was like my third eye chakra was just lit up. I don't know any other way to describe it. I was just like, okay, wait a minute. Why have I not seen this until right now? I dig on everything. So I looking at the address, and I realized, okay, it's a cyber office, but then I dug on that and realized that they had a second office in Germany connected to the Tesla Institute, which blew my mind even further, not to mention a couple unnamed content creators that tried to get into the cyber office. And we'll just say Gary was very aware of who they were, and it's somebody that posts on Telegram. So I thought that was interesting. The address itself is interesting. 17, 17, 10, 25, 1 + 2 + 5, 17 again. So they obviously chose that sweet number for a reason. So at that point, I reached out to Paul via email, and they don't respond to everybody. And for some reason, they responded to me. And the next thing I know, I was interviewing the guy next week. And I can't divulge, and I will not divulge everything that was talked about off air out of respect for the security of Ingersoll. But there were a couple things that were said off air that literally made my hair stand up, and my head is shaved. So do with that what you will.
Yeah, well, I talk to a lot of people in the military, and I hear shit that I'm told not to repeat. And, my beard goes, when they tell me this shit, like I seriously think Trump's uncle hauled all the Tesla stuff off long before he died there at the end.
He did. He got to
And
those papers way before Hoover did.
Way before. That's when what was left there was tidbits of shit. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying?
Quickly, Tamger Growl. I got to figure out a way to say that.
Tam Growl. She told me. Tam Growl.
Tam Growl. Okay, Tam Growl. Gifted the cookie and said, this info tastes good. Yum, yum. Carrie Lake with the can. Glad to be going over this. It's boring when you do it by yourself, right? It's always better to do things
Everything's
with
better
your friends.
with friends.
Right.
That's like Sunday with Tron. God, that is so much fun. You know what I'm saying? Them guys go crazy and we have a blast and you learn shit.
Who?
You know what I'm saying?
Who?
Tron on
Yes.
Sunday.
Tron,
Yeah.
Tron, Space
Them
Shot.
guys go nuts and you see shit they don't see. Then you go look after the show's over and you learn more shit, you know?
That's why I love doing live digs. Like, that's one of my favorite type of shows to do.
I
I don't do
love
them that much, but I love doing live digs. That graphene show we did was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
We got to do another one soon. Like,
Live digs
Yeah.
are the best. I agree.
Remember back in the day, we used to do that all the time when
Yeah,
people that
why I
had
used
shows.
to watch. That's why I used to watch Our Doctor so much, because
Yep.
he'd go on for 5 to 7 hours, but he wouldn't lose me for a minute usually.
Yeah,
But,
you know,
those guys are just
that's
some
where
diggers.
Gary gets in and he don't chat because what'd he say? What'd he say? You know, you're listening. You don't have time to chat.
It's because we're all working together like a hive mind on a particular subject. You know what I mean? And everybody's got a piece of the puzzle that you don't have, and it just live digs are, I don't know, live digs are the greatest thing. Thank you, Share Within, for the phone. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Oh, by the
you
way,
got-
I want to let the chat out there know, for some reason it came back now, so I can see D Live, Twitch, and YouTube now. I can see your chat again, you guys. So
It never fails when I watch you two guys show, I leave and I've learned something. Or I found something to go look into and then I learned something.
our doc,
You know?
who are you talking about, Gary?
You two.
Oh, us?
Every time no matter what it's on, you bring sauce. You make people think. Even if some people think what you're talking about is Looney Tune, you know, because it's alien,
Right.
you still, you know, I'm sorry, there's too much shit in the sky, and I've seen none of
Right.
it. Not to believe there's something going on. Come on,
It's true.
you know?
It's true.
I mean,
Like I would have never guessed how deep the rabbit hole goes when I was a sleeper, right? But yeah, that's, you know, how can you not know there's something
and it's not just one rabbit hole, there's hundreds of them,
yeah.
you know?
Foil.
Lots of crazy, man. Thank you, Canine Lover, for the phone. Awesome show, they say.
So yeah, we get just off topic for a second, but the graphene, like we have a bunch more stuff on the graphene. Like we need to do that part 2, but Foil and I have been so busy lately that to get another showtime midweek to do that has been a challenge. But I know you guys, it's not off of our mind, guys. As soon as we get a hot second to do that show, because I love doing live digs with you guys. But whenever we do live digs, it will only be on Foxhole and Rockfin. It won't be anywhere else because we're not going to deal with censorship while we do that. Right. So
go to Foxhole and Rockfin.
Yeah, and make your accounts over there, guys. Support
Please.
the free speech platforms. So Gary, any other comments or thoughts? Thank you for the compliments, by the way. Really appreciate you.
If I could, real quick, to kind of let everybody in chat know what's going on with my health.
Okay, please.
I've gotten worse. The bottom of my feet look like hamburger. I went to see my doctor. He goes, we need to fix you now. So we moved my date up. I think it's tomorrow. I got a neurologist meeting at 8:15 in the morning. That was the last thing I need for his recommendation. And they'll probably set my cut time sometime tomorrow afternoon. And hopefully I'll come back a healthier and better man. And if not, if something happens, I'm ready to meet God. You know what I'm saying?
Are they doing a biopsy or what are they doing, Gary?
No, I have a 5-inch long aneurysm underneath my heart. That's what was causing my feet to be bad. It's so enlarged and he thinks it may explode and then I'd never make it to the hospital in time. So they're going to go in and put a tube in it, whatever the tubes are called,
Oh boy.
to bring it down to the right size. And he tells me, and I like this doctor, he's been truthful about everything, you know. He says, you'll probably feel better than you have in the last 10 years since you got sick. because you'll get the true blood flow back, which you probably haven't had for 6 or 7 years. But now it's just gotten so bad, that it's affecting your teeth.
Guys, can we please,
yes.
please prayers for Gary Flessner, our buddy Gary Flessner.
Definitely.
Please keep
And
him in
that's
our-
why I have a
Let's
chance,
show-
because all of the prayers.
Let's show the power of prayer here with this community and what we can accomplish with it. And I've seen it happen over and over again. So please keep Gary Flessner in your prayers. Bring it up to others wherever you can. Let's get as many people praying for Gary as we can. Please.
I love it here. I'm not ready to go. I like coming in.
We need
Trying to
you.
make
We're
you
not
proud.
ready for
We're,
you to
yeah,
go,
we're not
right?
ready for you to go. You can't leave yet. We won't permit it. I will
And-
haunt
and-
you
I refuse, right?
in the
And the
astral.
2 guests you have on today, you guys rock.
Yeah, these guys rock. These guys.
They rock.
these
I
guys do
really
the
like
research.
them. They have been on the point and informational from the go of the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
these
I
two guys are
love
great.
it when you
Appreciate
have
it.
guests like that on.
Yeah, we're
Well,
glad
thank
to
you,
have them.
Gary. Thank you for calling in.
Okay.
Thank you for the update. And
And we
Well-
love you, and you will be in our prayers for sure.
I had to go on one last time before I go in to get fixed. And I had to try out these new headphones and mic. And God, I love them.
good.
And it's so great I can keep my fan on and you guys don't hear it.
Yeah, that's nice. I wish I could do that. It's awfully hot in here.
Well, right around $300, rated #1 by
No
the
problem.
gaming world. And I tell you, see, they even have lights in them, and the mic even lights up. But I
Yeah,
don't
that's.
give a
Oh, we
shit
can't
about
tell.
that.
You need disco balls on the side. That's all you're missing.
Well, I
Gary.
got my studio light working, and it keeps the light even, but it drowns out the lights on the headphones. I didn't buy them to light up. I bought them to hear and talk.
Right.
You know.
Good point. Well, thank you for
But-
calling in, Gary. We love you.
Yeah, love it. See you guys
Right.
on
Okay.
the rebound when I get done. I'll hopefully.
Yeah,
He
let
said
us know.
He said one day if everything goes well, I'll be home. So
Okay.
hopefully
Good.
I can come say hi to everybody Wednesday
Please.
night if they do it. early
Yes, please
Tuesday.
do.
Please
It's
come
gonna work
update
out.
us.
Best case scenario.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you guys. Appreciate the prayers, and I love everybody on Foxhole.
Much love, Gary.
Bye, Gary. Man, I'm not gonna worry though. I'm gonna have complete and utter faith that he's gonna pull
Yes,
this through this.
he's-
Just, I'm not even
he's
gonna
gonna-
entertain
this
the
is-
thought.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
He's gonna be
He's good.
great.
He's
He's
golden.
gonna be fine. Our cloaked unseen Ryan, what's
Hi,
going on, man?
Cloaked.
Been seeing you
Oh,
all
hello.
over the foxhole lately.
Yes.
I wasn't even expecting
Our
to call
cloaked
in right
unseen
now.
superstar, what's going on, man? Welcome to the conspiracy couch.
Yeah, I just I didn't even know that you were having them on today, and I was
Yeah,
actually
Cloaked is. I remember doing that show with you and Diddy,
Yeah.
man. I didn't even know until yesterday I was going to be here. It's kind of crazy how things work out.
Yeah,
But
I
I
didn't
was
even.
actually get this. I was literally I asked Diddy style earlier today in one of the in TikTok's chat. I was telling him I was going to restream his show today. I asked for his permission if it was cool, and he said yeah. So
Oh, that's
basically,
cool.
I was going to run it before 1 Foot and 5D's show, but then some things came up. I couldn't get it started because I'm trying to I want to add some more context to things that weren't shown when I was talking about them
Yeah.
during the show. So basically, within an hour after you're done with this stream, I'm gonna restream that. I'm gonna pause it in the parts that I can add more context to what I was saying in regards to like images and that kind of thing. Like adding the,
Oh, wow.
because he wasn't able to line it up what I was talking about as I was talking about it. You know what I mean?
So, Ryan, have you dug into the Ingersoll Lockwood thing at all? Have you gone through this website?
No, I have not done that yet. No.
Yeah, there's a
But,
lot there.
Yeah, I've been working a lot getting in my mind how I'm gonna run my show in regards to
You're
my
gonna do
live
a regular
stream.
show on YouTube,
Yeah, like-
or where are you gonna do it at?
Well, YouTube to start right now, but I
Okay.
mean, eventually at the Foxhole. But basically, it's mostly going to be just breaking down videos and crazy stuff I got on video and talking about that kind of stuff. So I've been doing a lot of that, like looking through all my videos to know where things are to show people, because I have stuff for days that are it's amazing stuff that I can actually teach people how to see the stuff they weren't seeing before that I never saw before.
You think you
And-
could teach them and they'll start seeing it though, Ryan, or is it a frequency
Not
thing that
everybody.
they're not?
The people that want to, yes. The people that don't want to put the time into it, no.
Right.
It's all, just like just like your show or anybody else's show. If nobody doesn't vibe with them, they're not going to watch. That's fine.
Right.
I'm not there. It's personal choice.
Right.
But if somebody wants to learn and all the answers are out in nature. That's what teaches you more than anything. I suggest everybody take their phones out and record the woods with you in it at dusk or at dawn, zooming in and out of the trees, and then watch your video after you upload it.
Well, the
I'm
phone
gonna try
does.
that tonight.
Why do you think? Okay, the phone does catch stuff that your eyes can't see, right? And I don't
Yeah,
fully
and the
understand why that
camcorder.
is, but
The camcorder too. It just well, the thing is, people don't understand is the recorder records in real time all the time. When it's blurry, it's because nature that produces a hologram in it has to produce that with the technology that these beings have that are around us that are basically materializing our world in real time all the time, depending on certain factors. It's really complicated, but basically the recorder is it's recording in real time, and nature has to catch up to produce the hologram to be recorded. And that's what you're seeing. You're not seeing, it's like the opposite of what they teach us. It's like the exact opposite. It's like, because they don't even talk about the AI or the hologram, but they tell us, the recorder thing, something's blurry, then it's the recorder device is messed up and it's the recorder. No, it's the it's the AI system trying to produce the hologram to make it clear, as these beings are also trying to hide themselves. So it's like, and they're using tech to blur the image.
That's a trip.
Yeah,
Right.
let me introduce you to our cloaked unseen world, Jayse.
I've seen your work before. I'm very impressed. It's always amazing to me to see what you're talking about. And
He makes me
So-
feel like diet woke.
so are you seeing some of these entities as well outside of the recording, just with your naked eyes and your consciousness?
Yes, I am.
And is it similar to what you're seeing on the camera? Like, will you see it in real life and then record it and then have the evidence from the recording to kind of back it up?
It's a little different, but yeah, I mean, once you go out there and you study nature enough and you record it and do what I do, you understand how they hide themselves. They hide themselves as pretty much, they transform into like a dead leaf. And they'll be like right there in the middle of if you trace the sticks and that are all that, everything's put into like structures and stuff. Go into the forest, you'll see the trees will be connected from one tree to the next, to the next, to the next. And they're touching with something, a dead tree or whatever. And basically these things can turn themselves into something. So they'll turn themselves, when you're around, or the recorder, into a dead leaf in the tree, and that's where they'll hide as their body. It's just a trip.
And
Well, I mean, if this is a simulation, theoretically, they could very easily turn themselves into anything to be projected into the simulation.
Yeah, well, we all can, because we all are made of the same thing. We're all made of light cells, plasma energy, light cells. All cells have photons of light in them.
Right.
Yes.
Off topic too, but the trees.
Yeah.
Now, this will sound crazy to people that haven't but the trees, they communicate with each other and us. You just have to understand their language.
I haven't told my story yet, and I won't tell it now because it's too much. I was trying to get it out on Severe's show, but it has to do with the tree and something that happened to me when I put my ear up to one at the right time, at the right place, and it was just mind blowing.
Did it tell you
Well-
something? What did it do?
It was just like an instant connection to it was like I felt the whole earth literally like vibrating below my feet, and it just started vibrating out. My hearing got enhanced, my vision got enhanced. I just started getting downloads like crazy, like like I was like tapped into the mainframe or something. I don't
Is
know.
that like I've had
Well-
sent them love before and had them send me love back and I could feel it? You know what I mean? Is that like similar to that?
Well, this was like right when I put my ear to the tree. I like heard felt this pop that looks like when you get off the plane and your ears pop.
Yeah.
And then also it felt like something it almost felt like something in my head popped. Like something, I mean,
Whoa.
I'm gonna go real off point here, but it's something that needs to be deep dug into, and I've heard it elsewhere before, but it makes sense to me. there are suture lines in the skull, right? It takes a
Mhm.
cut in order to need to be sutured, in order to need to be healed, to be a suture line in a bone. It doesn't happen without a cut. And why do we forget shit after the age of 3 or 2 or whatever? Some people, it's not the same for everybody. You know, they do something at some point to each of us at different times, but they do the same thing.
The extraterrestrial skulls, they don't have suture lines, do they? The ones we found, the elongated ones?
Yeah. So
Interesting.
and this walking through walls training system says that you can literally, if you have like a cut on your arm, you can walk in and out of dimension and heal the cut. So they could easily stop time, do something in our head, put something in there, take it out, you know, or do whatever they do, and then heal it instantly.
And they being who in this
Or
case?
Who's ever in charge of this of
The simulation?
The simulation?
or I don't even know if it's, I don't even know. I don't want to go there with it. I'm just saying that.
I mean, are we talking like
I don't have an
spirit?
answer.
Is this spirit or is this like a human intervention kind of program?
Well, it would probably be someone. It would most likely be something not, you know, something, you know, that wants to control humanity. Whoever that is, what is, you know, that's who's doing it.
So like
Right.
the Gnostic texts say, the demiurge,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Are we talking
Yeah.
demiurge here, or are we talking the end? I don't. Whatever.
No,
What would be
it's
the
not
opposite
something
of
to
the
be feared.
demiurge?
It's not something that anybody should fear. You know, it's a question I'm
Yeah.
posing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Interesting.
It's,
Well,
and it's a
Cloaked,
really good,
Yeah.
Kiz
really good
says
question.
you're brilliant. Yeah, Kiz, thank you for the cookie. Kiz says Cloaked is brilliant,
Yeah.
just so you know. And then somebody else had asked if you were wearing shoes at the time when you had the experience with the tree. I assume is what they were referring to.
No, but like I also when I put my, because I did it after I pretty much figured out everything, and then I really I just was seeing what's going to happen if I even had my stethoscope with me out in the forest, and I was trying to use
I
that.
want to try that.
That's a good idea.
I want to try that. That's a good idea.
Putting it up to different trees and bushes and stuff, and I didn't really notice anything there. But then when I switched to just my regular ear, it was about the 5th tree, and it was the biggest one in the area. It was a big old growth pine, and Douglas fir. And I just put my ear up to it. Like I said, I heard that pop. I literally felt like vibration I never felt before, like just flowing through me, around me. Like I was like, it reconnected me with, like there's the one quote that I have on my Twitter. That's the reason I picked it. It's like, if you go to my pinned tweet, I mean, I picked the quote because of my experience. And it just lined right up, and I just know what is about to come. It's like, it's the trip. But here, I'm gonna just read the quote that's in my pinned tweet real quick. It's real short. I gotta pull it up. But anyways, it's really relevant, and it's basically, let's see what this meter's slow.
Quick question. Going back to these beings you were discussing that hide themselves, are these what we would most commonly call elemental beings, like earth spirit elementals?
Yeah, they're the ones that are controlling the producing the hologram with their radium energy ray technology.
Whoa. The
The
elementals
natural
are-
hologram, right? Not like a fake hologram, but like the natural earth hologram.
Yeah. Well, nothing's fake. There's not,
Right.
even a hologram's not fake. It's just like, you know, it's real. But anyway, so here's this.
It's not stable, basically. It's not stable like it appears to be.
Yeah.
You can manipulate.
So here's
it.
the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ryan.
This is what happened. You know, throughout space, there's energy. Is this energy static or kinetic? If static, our hopes are in vain. If kinetic, and this I know it is for certain, then it's a mere question of time when men will succeed in attaching their machinery to the very wheelwork of nature.
Oh, interesting.
Very insightful.
Right?
Yeah.
Real quick, I also missed Cautious Observer. We're glad to have you with us. Thank you for the phone. Says I've only watched your channel a couple of times, quickly becoming a fan. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, we
But yeah,
appreciate
so-
your support. Thank you. Well,
You got other
Ryan,
people, so I'm gonna let. I know you guys got to go.
That was
I've got
very
pilled
insightful.
by the rabbit in the waiting room. Yeah, it was very insightful. So let us know, Cloaked, where people can find you on YouTube and when you're gonna start doing your next show over there.
Well, it's gonna be within an hour after yours ends right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna Diddy Styles interview that when I called in with Johnny Kill and the other guys that were there on the show.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to put your link in the chats.
It's a warm
Yeah,
and
so
friendly
anyway-
name, Johnny.
But that's amazing. It was amazing calling. I actually flowed really good with the quotes I was using, how I was using them, telling my story and the things that I told. I connected everything pretty well. I thought pretty good.
You say
So,
some
well, I'm
profound
gonna be
stuff here and there. Thank you
adding
thank you for
content.
calling in, Ryan. Go and check out our Cloaked Unseen World over on YouTube.
Yes, make sure you guys give him a follow. The links should be in the chats.
Yeah, I'll drop it in a minute here too.
All right. Well, you have a good day and have a good show here in about an hour, Cloaked. We'll talk to you
Yeah.
soon.
Right on.
Right. Much
right.
love to you.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Pilled by the Rabbit will be our last call, and then we will go ahead and close out the show. Pilled by the Rabbit, welcome to the Conspiracy Couch.
Hello again. Good to see you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, excellent. It's good to be back on the couch.
Yeah.
Well, we're happy to have you
couch
here.
is the place to be for mind-expanding
Oh.
conversation, right?
It definitely is. I kind of want to ask these gentlemen a question.
Go for it.
Getting back to Tesla.
Mhm.
In the early years of Tesla and later in his life, how he ended up in the, the New York hotel. Have you heard much about him having his technology basically built into that building? Anybody?
I have not. That's an interesting theory, though. But I haven't
Yeah,
heard
it's
one.
like there's tunnels with water, the height, the way they built the rooms and all of that.
How long did he live there?
Well, he was there in his later life,
Mhm.
and everybody was like, he's crazy. But on the roof, he had pigeons, and he was known to be down feeding the pigeons, looking like an old crazy old man. And in would come a pigeon that he would pick up, and they say, oh, he'd take it up to his room and care for it. But I think he was I think it was sharp right up to the end. And he was,
Oh, no
He
doubt.
was.
yeah, and
He
he was
was.
messing around with pigeons, and he was doing messages, and who knows if he had that technology turned on. But I find it interesting because I think Trump builds his buildings on a similar setup.
I would definitely say that's highly plausible because of John's connection to Tesla, John Trump's connection. And then on top of that, I think that he was experimenting pretty much up until the end. I mean, this guy had figured out how to use magnetism and create electricity from the earth that we would not be paying what we're paying or paying anything. Energy would be essentially free, which it takes the power away from obviously the powers that be. So no, I think he was definitely onto something. And yeah, there's the Plus Ultra site, and I can definitely post the passwords. You guys can take a look at some of those papers for yourself. So
Awesome.
yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff to look at when it comes to Tesla. I'm quite fascinated by Tesla.
Yeah, that wouldn't
yeah.
surprise me. I'm fascinated by him too.
I have a feeling that potentially some of this D-class information that's going to come out from the Lockwood countdown is going to pertain to either Tesla or Space Force or both.
And
That'd
they've
be
had
awesome.
so many references to Tesla on that website.
Can you guys talk about the countdown on the website real briefly, get them up to speed on that countdown? Although all of you should go check out that site for yourself because it's endless, the stuff over there. And like I said, there's hidden hyperlinks you can't see unless you highlight them and stuff that take you to other places. But gentlemen, can you elaborate on what the countdown is?
All right, so there was a riddle on the website when they first posted that countdown, and it said, what year was the Constitution signed? What day and year, and then it asked what day, what person was born 200 something years later with basically the same birth date. And I'm paraphrasing, that's not exactly what it said. I have to look at the exact screenshot. But if you decode that, you get 9/18/1945 or 9/18/45, who was born on that day.
Number 45.
Yeah,
John McAfee. Oh,
yeah.
John
So
McAfee.
they put that as a countdown. The other countdown, that McAfee countdown that everybody was watching, and everybody was like, oh yeah, look, this Bitcoin file is going to drop, and nothing kind of happened at that time. I was already watching the Ingersoll site. That's why I was like, yeah, I'm thinking most like, I remember I was up on Telegram with like Brad, CGC, and a couple other anons, and we were just like, so what do you guys think? You know, like, yeah, I'm not getting my hopes up, but we'll, you know what, fuck it, we'll see. You know what I mean? So no, I've been watching that. They took the countdown down for a little bit and replaced it, and then there's a way to clear your cache and refresh it where it'll bring you right up to speed. But it pretty much ends on midnight at the 17th going into the 18th, which is McAfee's birthday. I find 9/17 very interesting because that is Yom Kippur, which is a Jewish Day of Atonement. So I think that that's going to be a very interesting couple weeks coming up energy wise and possibly reveal wise. I'm not going to make promises, but we can all hope without hopium.
We can all hope without hopium. So well said.
Right.
I love that. That's great. We
Mhm.
can all hope without hopium. That's what I do. I hope without hopium. That's accurate.
Exactly.
So, yeah, Pild, what do you think about this Ingersoll Lockwood defense contractor rabbit hole situation? Have you looked much into it or no?
No, I love rabbit holes and I love
Right.
Tesla. And a lot of this just seems to be running some nice threads. It'll be fun to dig on.
Yeah, it's kind of
Definitely.
endless. It's kind of endless. When are you going to do your series on it, Jayse?
I think I might start recording it like right after this, since we're already kind of in flow, and then upload them throughout the week probably.
Awesome.
Oh, so you're going to record,
Yeah.
you're not live streaming.
I'm gonna record them, and then when I do my Saturday live stream, I might do kind of a recap or go over some new info. But I'm gonna make shorter segmented videos because the deep dive that I did was 2 hours long. So I'm gonna make like 10-15 minute short videos that just go into each page for, you know, quicker attention span kind of stuff.
Yeah, we were going to do psychic abilities on this show today. And then when I saw Jace's show, I don't know, what was it, yesterday, the day before? When I saw
Saturday.
his show, I was like, oh, look at that. And somebody else brought up, I think it was Leyland. She was like, you need to do a conspiracy couch on this and have these gentlemen come on. I'm like, yep, you got a good point.
Well, I told you months ago, somebody was sending me this information on Twitter. It was Liberty Bells.
Yeah, from Voxel. Yeah.
Okay. You know, something else that I missed on that McAfee thing too, there was a hyperlink in Chase. I don't know if you remember this one, but they posted on there. They took it down around the time the attacks kicked off. And that was when they got their Ingersoll page. One of their video social media pages got suspended or something happened, but they took it down. But on there, they had a thing that said, what important file did John McAfee give to Ingersoll Lockwood in 2019?
Where
and
was
then
this?
They put rest in peace, John. It was on Ingersoll's. I have screenshots of it. I'm going to get this to you guys and I'll post links on WikiLeaks. No, actually, no, they already are on there. I'll just have to go back and dig through and repost them. But I think at the time it was either under, it wasn't on the homepage. It was either in the info. I can't remember which tab it was under. I've got it screenshot. I don't want to quote the wrong one, but I just remember it literally said in 2000, they gave a date in 2019. I want to say it was around like sometime between September and November, if memory recalls. And it said on there, and they said, what important file did John McAfee give to Ingersoll Lockwood and what would they do with it? Something to that nature. So there was something, and then it said rest in peace, John, but this is reference 2019. So I don't know if that was a troll or this, that, or the other, but there was some sort of information that was exchanged. And then obviously there was a company sold from Gary Miliefsky to John. So could that be some information about some server somewhere, or could that be terabytes of, you know, potential dirt like WikiLeaks? Who knows? I don't know, but there's something that happened there that they're referencing.
Well, wasn't McAfee saying that he had gotten basically access to all of the DS's servers because he installed the McAfee software on there and it was basically a Trojan? So,
yeah.
And if I think I saw something too that said that Ingersoll helped fund McAfee potentially aside from this business deal. Like
yeah,
maybe
basically like with the antivirus program. So I was talking with this about the good anon that I know named Puzzle Builder, and he knows a lot of people at Ingersoll, and he's pretty well in the know. And he said anytime that something goes through McAfee antivirus, whether it's something coming in, out, computer, server, remote, whatever we're talking, where it goes through there, or mobile device, whatever, it makes a copy of that, runs it through its own servers. Yes, it does, and shoots it back out. So let's just assume, well, there's no need to assume. Actually, we know that McAfee antivirus was probably in all kinds of diplomats in the White House, business elites, computers, corporations, Hollywood. It's in what, 60 to 70 something % of Dominion voting systems, for example. Yeah, I mean, you're either using Norton or McAfee, but something's going somewhere and somebody's gotten into something because people tend to send information. Like, look at the Clinton emails. So I don't think it's too far off base to assume that they have it all. I've kind of been thinking
Right.
that for a long time.
Another thing too is a lot of people have pointed out that doesn't Ingersoll kind of resemble McAfee in a way?
I've
Like-
heard that one, and then I've heard like a mesh between Ingersoll Lockwood and Trump, and that picture. I know the picture you're talking. It's yeah, it's very very interesting, and I also kind of like we were talking about the other night. There's some similarities, although they may not be the same person. There's some similarities to Mark Twain. You know, that
Yeah.
you get into
That's
the
what-
time
yeah,
traveling
right.
aspect.
Mhm.
Yep.
They both wrote under
And
pseudonym.
did you know Mark Twain and Tesla were like this?
Right. Yeah, that's very true. That's my thing. They both had a pseudonym. One was long person. Mark Twain was Samuel Clemens. So
Mhm.
yeah, there's a lot of very interesting synchronicities there.
Did you say John and Mark Twain were like this?
No, Tesla.
Tesla.
And
Tesla
Mark
and Mark
Twain
Twain.
were like best friends.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
'Cause they
Especially,
most
yeah, if they all
likely
ran in
know
the same
They knew
circles.
Ingersoll too.
Well, they're alluding to that Ingersoll, you know, they say time traveler, you know, future vision, whatever. Future vision is what they put a period on. So that makes me think it's either like he was tapping into the Akashic records, like Edgar Casey kind of thing, like he was tapping into
Right.
that natural field of information, or
Oh,
they
yeah.
had some kind of Tesla technology that, you know, was suppressed later on, but that they had access to back then that was giving them predictions of the future that were looking glass like. So maybe
Correct.
Tesla invented the looking glass.
Very possible, and I've thought the same thing myself.
Future will prove past, I guess.
Interesting conversation today, gentlemen. A very interesting topic.
Yes.
Interesting conversation. You guys have both brought a lot of wisdom to the topic and interesting points. It's been a thoroughly enjoyable show.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, Pilled by the Rabbit.
Thanks for having us.
Do you have any last comments you'd like to make before we let you go and go ahead and close the show out?
Well, it's off subject, but right now I'm kind of looking for prayer warriors. A lot of people I know are in between worlds right now, life support situations. I actually sent you a picture. It's one of my very favorite pictures I took up at ECETI the second time I went. So, Alara, that should be in your pill message. I sent the same picture to, I'm sorry, that's my phone. I'm expecting a client in a minute. But I also sent it to Belushi, but we were up at ECETI. It was the second time we were up there. And I had this one little camera that did a really good job at taking pictures of orbs. And my friend I was trying to get some pictures and there were really no orbs. And all of a sudden he just started smiling and laughing. His name was Sky. And all of a sudden with my camera, I take a picture, and with my camera, I could see it real briefly. And there was a great big orb right over him. And I started getting excited and we start taking more pictures. And we just get surrounded in orbs. So if you like good orb pictures, I sent you one. And I'm
Where
kind
did
of
you
using
send it
that.
to, my friend? Where did you send it?
Impilled. I send it on your
You can get messages in Pilled?
yeah,
Yeah,
you
Thinking
can.
that.
Oh, you can get DMs?
Right.
Well, I'll
DMs.
have to figure out how to get into the DMs.
Yeah, when you
I had
when
no
you
idea.
when
Yeah.
you figure it out, or
There's
I send it
groups.
to Belushi.
I guess there's groups and DMs over there now, though I'm just learning how to navigate the groups. I don't even know how to check my DMs yet, but I'll figure it
Yeah,
out.
when we make an orb group, I want in.
All right. Cool.
But anyway,
And-
I'm using that to visualize it, because if you can just you've seen those pictures of orbs where they're just a cluster of them.
Yeah.
We were just standing in a cluster of orbs, and many people I know right now. I got a nephew named Kai. He's in Texas. I got my friend named Sky. I've got a good friend of my wife's cousins, but they're like sisters, and she's in the in-between world after a stroke. So a lot of people right now are just kind of in that in-between world, and I've been praying and hoping for good things to happen. And last time that happened, last night, right after watching your show with all the UFOs, I had a really nice light beam show up right over my head and give me a nice blink. Made me feel really happy.
Oh, that's a
So I
blessing.
just wanted to leave on a happy note, even though the world's in trouble. There's a lot going on.
Right.
And again, appreciate what you're doing. Your show is just awesome today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, much love to you and
Keep
prayers for
shining.
your people.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Keep shining your light, Rabbit. You're awesome. Thank you for
I
calling in.
appreciate it very much. Thanks. Everybody
Nice
have
to
a
connect
great
with
day.
you.
Thank you.
Likewise.
All right. So, yeah.
Lots of info.
Right.
Yeah, that was a lot today. A lot of info,
Yes.
guys.
That's good,
But I
though.
think the sites are out there. So let's quickly go. I'm gonna go ahead and release the the scratching over on Foxhole and the lemons on DLive. Gentlemen, can you please state for the record what your Telegram channels are so that people can find their way over to your Telegram channels? I've seen many people asking where they can find your Telegram channels and what platforms you're on and where they can find your shows. So can we please go over that briefly again one more time? Thank you.
Go ahead,
Go for it,
Johnny.
Jayse. No, go
Oh.
ahead. You first, bro.
My Telegram is t.me/Cosmic Origins channel. If you just type that in, you'll find it. And then I have a chat that's Cosmic Origins chat too. That's connected to that. And then I'm on YouTube as youtube.com/Cosmic Origins and Instagram at Cosmic Origins with a 0 on the O.
Awesome.
All right, cool. Johnny?
You can find me and Rick G at t.me RIKILEKS Ricky Leaks Official. We also have a chat room as well, and you can find me on the Foxhole on usually Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays with Diddy Style 93, or at least two out of 3 of those days, depending. We have our Digital Warrior Council on Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern, so feel free to stop on by. I'm pretty sure me and Rick are going to be working on some pre-recorded stuff. We also have a Rumble channel for Ricky Leaks, so yeah, we will be doing some stuff very soon.
Cool, good stuff.
Fantastic.
And gentlemen, I hope you'll come back and join us for possibly a part 2 or part 3 on this Ingersoll
sure.
Lockwood topic. And that would be absolutely wonderful. As far as my Telegram channel, you can find it by just looking up Alara of Sirius channel. So my Telegram is Alara of Sirius channel, and my chat is private, but I've found people navigate their way there somehow. But my chat's called the 1 Foot in 5D Cosmic Cafe. So yeah, I make it as cryptic and difficult as possible, don't I? You think I keep one name across, but I don't. No, I don't do that.
People still find it.
Right? And Foil here, she doesn't have a Telegram. She has a Twitter account still.
You have one.
Yeah, Foil uses mine, so my Telegram is Foil's Telegram as well. Thank you, Mrs. Lizard Breath, for the donation. Love you guys. Blessings. Thank you so much for your support. Truth Junkie with the shades. You guys are awesome. Thanks for your time and truth. God bless you all. Thank you so much for your
Also,
support.
John the Greek with the cookie and Dr. I don't know if it's Drailing or Dr. Ailing with the cookie. It's a great show. Thank you. Much love to you guys.
All right, and as far as just a couple of things, and then I will go ahead and drop it, guys. Let's see. We've got, as far as later today on the Foxhole, our good friend Suki, she's doing her show with I Find It at 4:30 p.m. Pacific over on the Foxhole.
Fire.
This is only like, I think, her second show. She's crushing it. She's doing so great. Those two are extremely entertaining. Her chat is very entertaining. So, but even if that wasn't the case, go and support Suki because she's just now getting started streaming. She's a very treasured mod, and she's actually crushing it. She's doing a great job over there. So go support Suki at 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Let's see what Foil. Let's go you first. What do you got going on? Where are you going to be at later today and the rest of the week?
At 8 o'clock tonight Eastern, I will be on with Journey to Truth, talking about Tesla, Elon, AI, all those random shenanigans. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be a lot of fun. And then tomorrow night at 7 on my own channel, I will be, like I said, talking about the Intelligence Authorization Act. And, like I say all the time,
don't miss
want to
that.
know what a government is thinking, look at how they're spending their money. There's so much information there. So, and I'm going to go through that pretty much line by line. Ton of stuff.
What platforms are you going to be on for that, Foil?
DLive, Rockfin, YouTube, Trovo.
All of them.
Pilled, right?
All right.
Everywhere.
Word. Let's see.
Awesome.
I will be on Wednesday with Methods for Methods of Madness, 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern. And that's it, other than Space Force News, which is every Sunday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, with my amazing co-host, Loyal to the Foil.
Yay!
Any other shows you two got coming up that we need to know about that are like coming up? Oh, you got...
I do.
Go ahead.
Every Saturday, I do a live stream at 12 noon Pacific time, where I talk about whatever crazy is on my mind for the week. So last week it was all about this, and next week there could be something new and exciting.
Right.
So we'll see.
Yay!
All right, cool. People can find updates from that over on your Telegram channel as well. Johnny, when's your next
Yes.
show, man?
Probably be jumping on with Diddy tomorrow night. I think that usually, when the hell does that usually happen? I want to say 7 Eastern, I believe. It's either 7 or 8 Eastern. It's in that pocket. I can't remember right now off the top of my head, but I do know at 7 or 8. No, and I take that back. 7 or 8 Central Time, so Texas time actually, because Diddy's in Texas. So about 5 or 6 my time, I'll be live with Diddy tomorrow. I'll let you guys know on Ricky Leaks.
Okay, thank you,
Awesome.
thank you, Johnny. And the scratching is out the door over on Foxhole, guys. The lemons are out the door over on D Live.
Thank you, hubby, for the cookie. Thank you, Mountain Lace, for the can. Fantastic show. Thank you, Redfish, for the cookie. Much love to you guys. And Karen Hare, thank you for the Cash App. I assume that's what the message was for.
All right, yeah. So thanks so much again for you guys for coming on. What a treat! Thank you so much for bringing all your information. Really appreciate you. Good luck with your upcoming shows and all the stuff you're working on. And on that note, let's see, big thank you to all the mods. Thank you so much for your support, you guys. All the people that donate and support this channel, and everybody that watches us and joins us. Thank you all so much for your support. And we hope that everybody has an amazing, blessed day. And we will be catching you later.